Hi, it's Kim Theodore from Poladora, and I'm going to do something a little different today, and I'm going to try to anticipate some of your questions and answer them before you ask them. This is going to be a combination video today. It's going to be a little bit of show and tell, and it's going to be a hack for those of you that would like to do some of the art of Zentangle, but like me, you're older, and if you have any arthritis in your hands, you know that you can only draw for so long until your hands are really hurting. So the first thing I'd like to do for those of you that don't know what Zentangle is I'm going to show you some of my work. I'm going to show you how simple it can be, and I'm going to show you how complicated it can be. At your choice, obviously. This is something very simple. It's just, if you can see that, I hope. It's just little tiny flowers and dots. And you can see where I signed it and put my name of Poladora and the year that it was created. This is a very complicated piece, and but I did include color. You can always include color in Zentangle, although I personally prefer it in black and white, because primarily you do it on white paper with a black, some sort of black ink pen. In this case, I added a colorful pansy in the upper right hand corner. And these are just some of the various Zentangle. Some I made up, some I learned, some I studied. This is very simple. It's just a matter of circles with some highlighting, some silver spheres, and a lot of curly cues, which happens to be one of my favorite. And here's one with a lot of color. I varnished it, as you can see, and I added a lot of color to this one. And all the shading that you see in here are all tiny, tiny little dots. Yes, it takes a lot of patience, and it can take a long time to produce one of these. This is where I really added a lot of color, and depending on which way you want to look at it. There's a little skyline over there in the background, some flowers, tree, and otherwise typical Zentangle marks. Make sure it's in the light for you. And a little bit of glitter, I must admit. Here's just adding a little bit of color without a lot of color. It's a single color. My name is down here with the year that I made it and the name Poladora, the name of my studio. And you can look at it from all directions. Here's another very complicated piece in which I tried to create the illusion of a lot of 3D effects, layering. Some there. This is a 3D effect as well. And in here too. The black, in some areas, the black, I actually added a 3D effect pen to make it darker than it already is. And here's another one that was kind of fun, because here I used more than one color. Little tiny dots of color throughout this area and around the rows. Here I made a peacock. Here's my peacock from here all the way down and around, and really no rhyme or reason to it, just a drawing I thoroughly enjoyed. And peacocks are one of my favorite birds, so I really had fun with that one. It's a little more complex, but only black and white. When you do only black and white, you really can't add any elements to it in color. You have to make sure that your black and white is really good. You know, not when you're starting out, but eventually that's what you'll want. So here's a lot of color, but only one. Kind of a red-orange, I guess you'd call it. A couple smudges in here. Nothing I can't fix, but these are simply unframed pieces that I've done over time. I never did anything with them. I didn't post them for sale or anything like that. I was in the process of learning Zentangle and all of the things that I could do with it or to it to make it look more three-dimensional. So I love this one. This one was really fun. This is an anthill that I made out of tiny little circles to represent dirt. So here's the anthill. This is their home underneath the green band of grass. And these are the flowers that are growing above it. Got some three-dimensional circles going on there. My little ants down there. Lots of color in this one. Green and I'd say pink, fuchsia. And sorry if I didn't hold it real steady. This is the last one I'll show you because I don't want to bore you to death. But those that are interested in Zentangle will probably find this interesting. This is one that I really worked on to show the aspects of three-dimensional that you can achieve with simply a pen and a piece of paper. And so today I would call this an intro to Zentangle with hacks for those of you who can't sit and draw to that extent, but you'd like to incorporate a little bit of Zentangle to your work. This is just a canvas that I simply put some straight acrylic with a brush, straight acrylic colors on, some primary colors in black. And I thought today we would do some fun things to show you that even if you don't know how to tangle, you can add some tangling to your work when it's dry and have some fun with it. So what I've done is I've made up some, I also do resin, epoxy, and alcohol inks, and many variations thereof. So for my epoxy colors, I have these plastic bottles. They're very tiny, but they're squeeze bottles. They're soft. And this piece on top here is called a needle. And what this does is you can put it on top. I want you to be able to see that. You can just stick the needle over the top and squeeze it on. It doesn't screw on or anything like that. You can just pop it right off if you want to. And they come like this. So if this becomes plugged, I usually use a needle because I sew as well. But for the purposes of our video today, if this becomes plugged, I'll simply pop a new needle on top and wash the other one out. Most people, when they use these with resin, they just throw them out, buy more, but I don't. I try to clean mine out with a needle, and it works pretty good, actually. So these are colors of the canvas, blue, white, black, red, and yellow, which you see here already. I think I'm going to leave the ball alone. Oh, here's another thing I want to include. Yes, my hands are very dirty. They're always very dirty since I started back into art. However, some of you may notice a blueness in my nails. And that blueness is because I have something called Raynaud's. And I'm sure there are others out there that have it as well. And winter is a very challenging time for me because right now I'm wearing a stocking cap and a hoodie. Yes, in the house. Because my pour painting studio is in the lower level, even though it's our family room level and it's completely finished. It's cooler down here than it is upstairs. So if you happen to see my head in any of this and you see just a hoodie or a ball cap, don't be alarmed that I'm outside freezing to death. I'm simply having some trouble with pain in my ears, which are also affected by the Raynaud's. So let's start with something very simple, and let's just make some dots. This is white. I want to make sure it works. Yep, works good. Let's take one of our black squares and let's just put some dots on it. Anything with dots is considered either art or Zentangle, whichever way you want to look at it. And I hope you can see how easy it is for me to add these dots just using this little needle on a tiny squeeze bottle. A lot of people like to call these writer bottles, but they did originate through resin and epoxy supplies. So I actually had these before I started doing pouring acrylics, but I'm so happy I was able to use something that I already had. And don't think it has to be perfect. It's not perfect. My hand shakes a little bit. I think some of that comes with age, but part of it is I've got you watching too. Let's see if I can speed this up a little bit for you. But I wanted to do enough of them to give you an idea of the process. And these are not going to come out perfect anyway because of the fact that I used a brush and straight acrylics on the black, so there are brush strokes and lumps and bumps. So just that was an air bubble. That happens. I'm just going to add a few more here. To give you a better idea of what you can and cannot do. You can do anything you want, actually, but if it were me, I'd cover the whole thing with dots. Okay, I think we're going to start using some black, which is already leaking out of the tip, which is a good sign. That means it's open. So with the black, I'm going to try a small square or a small area. Move this up for you so you can see it better. And I'm going to do what they call a swirl. Not a great swirl. There's a better one. You can probably hear the canvas that I'm scraping. That's because this is not been painted on the white. And this is so much easier with a pen. I hate to tell you. Okay, I hope you can see that. By the way, I hope you don't mind my music. It calms me. And my favorite kind of music actually is anything done by piano or violin. I guess I like all music, I think I'd have to say. No matter what your preference is, I think I probably like it. But having it in the background for me just helps me concentrate and do this without getting too nervous. See, the more I do, the better it gets. And that's because I'm getting more and more used to this needle and this bottle and how this particular paint is flowing. You always have the problem too of, because it's on canvas, it's not a smooth surface, so it's not like I can just drag my needle across the surface smoothly. I can't, because it's canvas. And if I lift my needle up off the surface too much, it might get too thick, like this one here. So I think I've done enough of those to show you what you can do with the swirl. And let's see, let's do something else in black on the white. Let's see where you are. I'm going to move you over a little bit so you can see better. I think here I'm going to make some squares. Never done this before, by the way. But when I got your feedback, and you said you loved the Zentangle, but it hurt too much to do it, I thought, well, if you're brave enough to tell me that, I should be brave enough to try it on a canvas in front of you. So that's what I'm doing. Oops. There's no such thing as a mistake in Zentangle. Just letting you know, because I don't want you guys to think that this has to be perfect, because it doesn't. This makes me wonder if I couldn't do a really cool pour painting with fluid acrylics out of my squeeze bottles and just turn it into something like this. Just tangle marks. I suppose I could. Maybe I'll do that. Let's make a long one here. finish this puppy up. Okay. You don't like the spacing, or you see an empty spot? That's very easily remedied, as you can see. There you go. Okay. Let's see. Got another white area. You won't be able to see if I'm going to have to put it this way so you can see it. It's this one I'm going to work on next. I think I'm going to try something different and make some lines. I think because the paint is fluid, it's always going to have that little bump at the beginning. And then I'm just going to cross them over with no expectation of them being perfect at all. So I'll just put one there. Let's add a dot here. Here, here, and here, and here, and here. Now we can either put a dot in between each one of these, or we can make this look more like, let's go for the fisherman's net look. So that would mean a big dot in the middle of every where you have an intersection. And paint flows to paint, so it will follow the lines out and spread a little bit. So eventually you'll be able to see it distinguish itself from the line itself. And from a distance it may look like, you know, netting of some kind. Of course, I'm using fluid paint, so all bets are off with getting anything to stay where I want it to stay. Okay. Love it. I'm going to put it down. Just because I can. A little catchphrase I picked up from my good friend and fellow artist, Priscilla Betzel. Love her work. If you get a chance, look her up on YouTube. Priscilla Betzel of Expressionist Art Studio and Gallery. I'm a big fan, and if you want to see something really great, go and watch a couple of her videos. So anyway, let's see. What do we want to do now? Why don't we put some color in here? So let's move this over. And I think what I'm going to do is, let's use black. What I'm doing is making somewhat of a sun. Let's put some dots in that sun. Because you know, when you're doing expressionist art, you can make a sun look any way you want. Something I'm having, as a firstborn perfectionist, I'm having a hard time accepting that. And a firstborn with a little touch of OCD, so that's my needle, folks. Starting to clog up on me, so just take a new one. We're good to go. I don't mind that they're different sizes. Don't matter to me. Okay, now I think out of there, I want some sun rays. Maybe colorful ones? Let's start with yellow. Since technically the sun is yellow. Do a few of those. No rhyme or reason. Let's try some red. Red needle's not working because I took all my caps off. Red, blue, there. What do you think? I think it's pretty cool. Okay, now let's do something completely different. On this square here, we're going to make it so that you can see it, okay? Let's see, what do I want to do there? Let's try something with the black. I'm making arches. Oh, come on. Now I'm going to go every other. Point to point on the top of the arch. Anybody can do this. There's no such thing as perfection in expressionist art. Just remember that, and it'll get you through anything. There you go. So, oh, come on. It's a air bubble. Oh, well. Okay, I think I'm going to keep going. There you go. I'm going to do a whole video just on beginnings in Tangle for those that are interested. And then I'll make several others just to move you along and give you more advanced stuff. So if you don't like Zentangle or you're not interested, you can just skip those, because the title of the video will be very obvious of what it is. Running out of room here, so I'm kind of winging it. We're almost to the top. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all the dots in the middle of each one of these a different color. Use my little tiny squeeze bottle. Put it right in the middle. Let's try some yellow. Hope that doesn't bleed into my sphere there, but it might. But we'll see. Red. That really stands out. It's good. A little more yellow. It's too red here. And yellow up here. Oh, got a naked one. I think we need to add a red dot here, make it look complete. I think I want that red. Okay. All right, there's another square done. And what do you think so far? We're having some fun with this one. I think this one up here, I think I'll turn it around for that one, because I have an idea. Let's center this a little more in your view. This one. And let's just make just colors. Just, I'll show you. We're just going to make a line. And at the bottom of that line, we're just going to go like that. Now yellow. Oh no. I had a mishap there. I forgot this was wet. But I can fix that later. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to show you, I'll put a finished, when this is completely finished, I'll put a finished picture of this on the beginning of the video. So you'll be able to see what it ended up as. This is quite a crude version of Zentangle because this is so large. And I'm so used to working on such a tiny scale. So I'm not going to make excuses for my shaky hand or not making things as well as I could in the mini. Let's pop that bubble right there. But I figure, you know, if I'm not great at this in this venue, then you don't have to feel like you have to be great at it when you try it. Oops. Come on. Oh, do that to me now. Pop in another. Normally I would keep these sealed up until I used one color to the extent that I wanted to use that color, and then I would. Now, why would this be? Coming out of the bottle, okay. So now that I've got a mess here, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. This one is really sad. It is. It is sad. There you go. Let's go back with red. Okay, now to make this more interesting, I hope you can see that. I hope my head's not in the way. And a few dots here and there. Here's some yellow. Almost like confetti. I'll have to add some red dots. Oop, that one just bubbled on out. Cute. Okay. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the other two, but I think I've shown you enough so that you know what the possibilities are. I'll touch that up. I'll finish this, and I may do some other things with the other squares, just so that you have an idea at the beginning of what it could be, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's just simply an intro to Zentangle and a few little hacks I showed you here today, which I obviously need more practice on, that you could incorporate into your acrylic paintings or your pour paintings after they're dry, that would kind of introduce you to Zentangle, but more importantly, give you access to the tool of tangling to make your paintings a little more interesting. So that's our big thing. I love dots. I love swirls. You probably have already seen swirling and dotting in some of my regular work, my regular pour paintings or my regular acrylics. So that's all I have for you today. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. I'm just starting out, so this is only my third video. And I continue to look for comments from you on what you would like to see in the future. I do want to produce videos for you, not me. My channel's not monetized, so I just want to share what I know with you, and if I can do that, and if I can help in any way, please drop me a line in the comments below the video, way down below the other videos you could tap on and watch right now. There's a comment section. You can leave me comments down there, or you can contact me. In the little down see more button underneath this video are ways that you can get in touch with me. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad you stopped by, and I hope you'll come back again. For now, this is Theodore from Poladora saying goodbye.